Personal story segment tonight. The financial chaos in this country is largely the fault of citizens who cannot pay their obligations, banks who lent money to unqualified people, and the federal government which failed to provide oversight. Both political parties are to blame, as I've stated. Now, the factor has called on SEC Chairman Christopher Cox to resign, Senate Banking Committee Chairman Christopher Dodd to quit, and House Finance Chief Barney Frank to step down from his position. That's because for the past 2 years, Frank and his committee oversaw Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, two government-sponsored lending agencies, which pretty much are bankrupt. Congressman Frank was asked about Freddie and Fannie on July 14th, 2008.
I think this is a case where Fannie and Freddie are fundamentally sound, but they are not in danger of going under. They're not the best investments these days from the long-term standpoint going back. I think they're in good shape going forward. They're in the housing market. I do think their prospects going forward are very solid, and in fact, we're going to do some things that are going to improve them.
Well, obviously, that statement turned out not to be true. Joining us now from Washington is Congressman Frank. And we appreciate you coming in, being a stand-up guy. But shouldn't everybody in the country be angry with you right now?
No, you've misrepresented this consistently. I became chairman of the committee on January 31st, 2007. Less than 2 months later, I did what the Republicans hadn't been able to do in 12 years, get through the committee a very tough regulatory bill, and it passed the House in May. I've always felt two things about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, that they had an important role to play, but that the regulation should be improved. Now, from 1995 to 2006, when the Republicans controlled Congress and we were in the minority, we couldn't get that done. Although in 2005, Mike Oxley of Sarbanes-Oxley fame, a pretty tough guy on regulation, did try to put a bill through to regulate Fannie Mae. I worked with him on it. As he told the Financial Times, he thought ideological rigidity in the Bush administration stopped that. But the basic point is that the first time I had any real authority over this was January of 2007, and within 2 months we had passed the bill that regulated.
And that's
finally,
true. All of that is
and then
true.
Also, one other point, the Senate was dragging its feet, as often happens, and in January of 2008, I asked Secretary Paulson to put in the stimulus bill. So the earliest chance I got to put tough regulation to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, we did it.
All right, that's swell, but you still went out in July and said everything was great, and off that, a lot of people bought stock and lost everything they had.
Oh, no.
And yes,
I said it wasn't a good investment. Please
don't give me any of that. We just heard the words.
I think this is a case where Fannie and Freddie are fundamentally sound.
And for you?
You didn't listen to it.
No, I listened to every word you said, and I have the transcript right here.
I said it wasn't a good investment.
Yeah, and you said going forward, we're going to be swell.
I do think their prospects going forward are very solid, and in fact, we're going to do some things that are going to improve them.
From August 7th to August 8th. Don't look. Stop the BS here. Stop the crap. From August 07 to August 08, under your tutelage, this industry declined 90%. 90%. Oh, none of this was your fault. Oh, no. People lost millions of dollars. It wasn't your fault. Come on, you coward. Say the truth.
What do you mean, coward?
You're a coward. You blame everybody else. You're a coward.
But here's the facts. I specifically said in the quote you just played that I didn't think it was a good investment. I wasn't telling anybody to buy stock. I said it wasn't a good investment. Secondly, I wasn't presiding idly over this. I was trying to get the regulations adopted. Look, we got them adopted in May.
Bottom line is, you're there 2 years. Bottom line is, stock drops 90%.
Yes,
in any private industry, you're out. In any private concern, you're out on your butt. But not here in the federal government. You can come in and make every excuse in the world, blame everybody else in the world, and then call me boring.
I'm not going to be bullied by your ranting. You can rant all you want. You're not going to shut me up. The problem was that we passed in 1994, in fact, the bill.
Now we're back to 1994.
Yes,
this is bull. This is why Americans don't trust the government.
No, this is why your stupidity gets in the way of rational discussion. The fact is, it was in 1994 that we passed a bill to tell the Fed to stop the subprime lending. We tried to get them to do it. The first time we were in power again in 2007, we passed the bill to regulate Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So during the 2 years
you tried to put a happy face on this in July. You tried to put a fan. Now you won't take. Look, at least Cox is man enough. At least Cox is man enough to say he screwed up.
Hey, Bill,
you're not.
This manliness stuff is very unbecoming from you. I don't see any of your
Cox is man enough to say he screwed up. You're not.
You think toughness is yelling and ranting and trying to bully, and it's not going to work with me. The fact is, in the very quote you played, I said it's not a good investment. I tried to get the regulations adopted.
Going forward, it's going to be swell.
I do think their prospects going forward are very solid, and in fact, we're going to do some things that are going to improve them.
And people under that bought stock in that, thought it was a good investment.
No, I said, in fact, in that quote that you played and didn't listen to because you're busy ranting, that it's not a good investment. I said that at the time. I did think we were going to improve things going forward. Yes, we had some things.
Let me read you your quote here, okay? Okay? I do think the prospects going forward are very solid.
You left out the part about not being a good investment.
People bought stock when you said that.
Bill, you're lying by your words.
This is what you said. Not lying. I played it and I read it.
What about the part where I said it wasn't a good investment?
You said it's not the investment right now, but going forward, this is going to be solid.
Right. And people you don't buy it right now. I didn't say solid. I didn't say swell. You distort consistently, and you think ranting and raving. You don't want to talk about 1994 like no history is relevant. The fact is that you had a problem with an administration conservative. So to the point
I know.
Where
it's all the conservatives. It's all the The joke is both parties are at fault, as I stated, but one guy, Cox, says, yeah, I screwed up, and one guy, Frank, says it's everybody else's fault.
No, I didn't say it was everybody else's fault.
It's your fault.
You are the most, you don't listen at all, or maybe you're listening and you're too dumb to understand.
I am too dumb,
The fact is that
No, you hit it. 2007, I'm too dumb. You're the brilliant guy. You're the brilliant guy who presided over the biggest financial collapse in federal history.
No.
So I'm the dumb guy. You're the brilliant guy.
And the
Congressman,
fact is
thanks very much. We got to run.
Well,